Sometimes the biggest issue we have is overcoming what we face. We go through things in this life, and bro, we go through it. You feel it. You feel the pain of it all. You go through it every single day. You feel it. I feel it. We all feel it. Because we're all going through something, right? The reality is that sometimes we have to fight our fears, right? Because a lot of times we want to run away from our situations, right? Now, I'm not saying that it's a weak move to run away from your issues. But our problem is that we don't allow ourselves to really nourish in our minds, like, look, this is my problem. This is my situation. This is my issue. So, okay, how are you going to address it? How are you going to handle it? That's the hardest part about it all. Handling and figuring out a way to deal with the situation, right? Sometimes we get caught up in the idea that we are alone in what we are facing. Think about somebody like Job. Think of somebody like Job who was perfect in the eyes of the Lord, right? He started losing prized possessions. He started losing people. He started losing his house. He started losing his livestock. He started losing things. Not because he was a bad person. He wasn't sinning. He wasn't going against the Lord's will. He wasn't doing things. He wasn't doing things that were offending God. He wasn't doing anything at all. As a matter of fact, he was living the most righteous life. But guess what? You still don't think that the most righteous living people aren't still the most tested, the most tried, right? Because we don't only get tried by Satan. Yes, we get put into trials by God because he wants to test our obedience. He wants to test our discipline. He wants to test our faith, right? If God were to put you in a situation where you lost all the money in your bank account, how would you react? If God put you in a predicament where you started losing, you lost your wife, you lost your house, you lost your children, you lost your livestock, you lost family members, you lost everything around you. And there you are, sitting in the midst of all your turmoil, and how would you react? How would you feel? See, somebody like Job, who stood faithful, who stood strong in the Lord, who kept his eyes on God the whole time, right? I'm sure in his mind, at some point, not necessarily doubt, but in his mind, he was like, okay, I'm losing this, I'm losing that. Like, dang, okay. Like, wow, like, this is crazy. But see, the thing is about faith, bro, it is what is unseen, right? Even in your midst of situational, doubt, depression, anxiety situations, it's the standing strong, right? The Bible talks about standing strong in the Lord, right? Let me talk about this, right? Job 13, verse 15. Though he slay me, I will hope in him. I will surely defend my ways to his face, defending my ways. So regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of what I am going through, am I going to stand firm with God? Am I going to stand firm and continue to trust God? See, trust goes like this, right? People's trust sometimes waver because, yes, people do things that, we don't like. People act certain ways. They act flaky. They do things that we don't like, right? Or we go, we deal with people on a regular day basis. That's just how it goes. And the reality of it all is how we handle people in these situations can sometimes cause us to sin. It could cause us to not look at things the right way. I'm not yapping in this video, I promise. But what I'm trying to say is this verse really talks about defend my ways, right? So regardless of how I'm feeling, my emotional state of, my ways, my desires, I'm going to continue to hold steadfast and be righteous, live righteous for God. That's something we have to stand true and stand strong in. And it's a choice you have to make, right? But it's a mentality, right? Romans 12 verse 2 says, do not conform to this world, but renew your mind, right? Renewing of your mind is also a strengthening, right? When you renew your mind, you cleanse your mind, but you strengthen it in the ways that are of God, right? You renew and strengthen and cleanse, and you do these things, and it allows you to gain wisdom, understanding. It allows you to stand strong. It allows you not to be flustered when things don't go your way. It allows you to hold on to what is true, right? That God saves, that God is in control, that he is taking care of your situation, right? Regardless of what is getting in your way, it is not going to hold you by the neck in the throat and take control of you, right? It's not going to brainwash you and mind control you, right? We got this thing called TikTok brain rot, right? It's not going to take control of how you talk, how you see things, how you see life, how you think, right? Yes, things affect us, situations affect us, but it's not going to allow you to lose that relationship with God, lose that stronghold with God, right? Let's see, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 21, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope, to give you a future and a hope. So you understand that, yes, Job went through these things, but he knew that God had a plan. He had the blueprint, he had it written down, he already had it formulated. So he stood true on that, and he never wavered. His faith never wavered. Do you have wavering faith? Do you have wavering faith? That is the question of this video. Answer it down in the comments below. But do you have wavering faith? Is your faith strong enough to withstand Satan's devices? Is your faith strong enough? Right? You can answer that for yourself right now. Now, I'm going to answer how you strengthen your faith. It's to lean on God, to obey him, right? That is a decision you have to make personally. But not only obey God, but you have to want to live for Christ. Because once you live for Christ, your desires and your mentality switch over. That's that renewing of your mind that Romans talks about. That is that change of heart that Romans talks about. That is the cleansing of your mind, the renewing of your heart. That is what Romans is speaking of. So where is your faith lying? Is your faith strong or is your faith weak? I want you to answer in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share with this video with as many people as you can. Join the Discord link in the bio. As always, God bless.